Okay. So I don't know if I can close this for now. Great. So welcome everybody. This is the What to Do When You Don't Know What to Do webinar. Thank you for coming tonight. As I like to say, 80% of success is showing up. Congratulate yourselves on showing up tonight. It takes courage to put a stop to everything going on in your life, your busy schedule, and say, okay, I'm going to take some time out and I'm going to go a bit deeper in my reflection. So great stuff. Next webinar, before I forget, 5th of December 2018, it's going to be a joint webinar with a great coach that I know that helps small businesses and professionals work on their marketing. And we're going to look at, can you succeed without self-promoting, without the stuff that makes us feel a little bit uncomfortable sometimes, like marketing and selling. Can you succeed without doing that in your work or your business if you're an independent professional? My mission for today, to be of service to you always, to share my experience and principles I've learned around navigating uncertainty, go into any questions that you may have, maybe some coaching time, and share some of the work I do in this area. I'm just going to ask that everybody mute themselves, so and then unmute yourself if you want to ask a question, please. Thank you. Navigating uncertainty. So for me, the arc has been from going from overworked hospital doctor, very much slave to the system, to realizing my teenage dream of working at global level, working on global health policy. And then something I hadn't really planned, that was setting up my own business and working independently. And who am I and why do I do this? So I'm a transformational coach now. I'm a doctor by background. And today I help mission-driven professionals, that professionals who want to make a difference, to break out of anything that's holding them back. And if you're a high achiever, you'll already have a track record of success, but maybe you're feeling that's not enough. And that's where I can help. That's my specialty. I'm passionate about self-discovery, and I've been like that since I've been very young. And I turn that passion today into my career, into my job. I've worked with a range of organizations that are well-known, well-respected in medicine, academia, and policy, like the UK National Health System, the Royal Institute of International Affairs, and the United Nations. And I'm currently an honorary senior clinical lecturer at University College London. In 2016, I took a big leap away from working in organizations to working independently. And as I mentioned, I help high achievers, professionals, to find more fulfilling success in their life and work. And I've taken several leaps in my career. So when I was at medical school, I kind of knew that I wanted to do policy and big picture type stuff, not just clinical medicine. I didn't want to focus on that. So I went to Cuba for my elective. Then when I qualified as a doctor, I did go and work in hospitals for 3.5 years, in the UK and in Switzerland for a year. Then after that, I went to South Sudan with Médecins Sans Frontières for a humanitarian mission for a few months. And then after that, I started doing public health physician training. And that included a master's in public health and a PhD in epidemiology and public health. And it's during that time that I started to think about what I wanted to do in my career in the long term, because I was kind of on track, but something wasn't quite right. I wasn't sure. And it's when I went to Alaska that I had a series of epiphanies or insights that helped me reconnect with what I felt was lost in a way, and that was my inner voice. I reconnected as well with nature, with a kind of bigger perspective that took me out of my focus on my self-centered questions, if you like, and it just put my quest in perspective on Earth. And it was very, very helpful, even if it was a little bit of a shock at the time. And that's how I ended up really then reconnecting with my dream of working on global health policy. So at the top there, you see a picture of me at the at Palais des Nations in Geneva, which is the United Nations headquarters. Having been in a period of confusion before that, not knowing what to do, and which is what I'll get into shortly to give you a bit more of the story. And then from then, that's how I had somehow enough courage to then step out even further and set up my own business. And it was in 2015 that I had the impact of this shift that I mentioned in Alaska had manifested. So I did end up working on global health policy, even though I was working at very local level just a few months before that. And then setting up, basically creating my job as a business owner. Some of you may know that I write Wise Wednesdays and hopefully find it helpful. I also founded the RSA Coaching Network and the Leaders Circle that you may have attended. And I designed the Create a Career and Life You Love coaching process, and that's my one-to-one work. So ideas you'll take away from today are what I don't know what to do really means, the easiest way back to clarity, and 3 things that will prevent this I don't know what to do kind of feeling and frustration. 3 things I didn't have to do on this journey, and you don't either, are to compromise on important values that you have. You don't have to be a lone struggler and do it all on your own. And you certainly don't have to give up on your dreams. And this is a photo from 2018. So 2 years before that, I'd taken a leap away from my sort of 9-to-5 career and thought it was a bit crazy. And I didn't even tell people at work because I was worried about what they'd say and whether they'd sort of rain on my parade and take the wind out of my sails. So I just kept it very quiet, that I wanted to do something different. And then 2 years later, I find myself on a leadership team with a very well-respected coach, Rich Litvin, with an amazing group of people who are all pretty much on a similar journey. And never would I have imagined that there were so many people out there that I could connect with that quickly. So the message being, you're not alone. Is this for you? Yes, if you've had great success already, but you feel there's something bigger or more fulfilling to step into. You feel frustrated if you don't have freedom, especially creative freedom. And you're a type of person who you're not short on ideas. You do have a lot of creative ideas. Maybe you've got an idea for a business. You've got an idea for a project that's a bit different to what you do in your 9-to-5 job, but you're not sure where to start. And this may be particularly important to you right now if you've spent a lot of time thinking and researching already, and you've asked a lot of people, you've connected with a lot of people, you've had a lot of conversations. So you've done all of that groundwork. Perhaps your personal life or your relationships are starting to feel the strain because you're not moving forward with your ideas. And it might be turning into sort of blame and frustration with work and bosses and things. And you may feel the uncertainty in your industry or job market, and you don't want to just wait for things to be decided for you. You want to be sovereign. You want to be holding the reins of your life. A little caveat, this is not a theoretical framework or an academic exercise, and it's not a quick formula for short-lived success either. So how it started for me. So in 2014, I had to make big decisions about my what I'm going to do next in my career. I was coming to the end of my physician public health training, and it was time to commit to the next 5 to 10 year or 20-year career. And I was told a range of things, from don't worry, there'll always be opportunities for good people, to just keep your head down and go where the jobs are. And this was from people that I respected, that were authorities, that were leaders in my profession. I was also encouraged to apply for jobs that I didn't really want, and told that just do it for now, and then you later down the line, you'll be able to get to do what you really want. And none of this really helped to restore my confidence or my clarity. And what I felt sad about at the time was that I was known for being passionate and determined, but I was feeling increasingly lost and confused and losing my passion. So really, I was in the space between stories. One story was coming to an end, but the new one hadn't started yet. I ended up spending several months in a job that was completely unsuitable for me. I felt unappreciated and demoralized. I felt like none of the traditional sources of guidance and support could provide answers. And I'd almost completely forgotten my long-held dream of working on global health. So now what? So option one, I go with the recommended safe route and take a job that I might not like, but will secure my career in the long term. Or option two, I embrace a more entrepreneurial mindset and explore a path that's more independent. And so I decided to take option number two. So I embraced the uncertainty and decided to follow my heart and take my brain with me. So I reclaimed my energy as my own capital and used my intuition to decide how to invest it. So essentially, I was shifting from the employee mindset of waiting to be told what to do and then doing it really well to an entrepreneurial mindset where I have to use my intuition and make risky decisions. And Abraham Lincoln, who's a famous American United States president who presided over one of the most turbulent and uncertain periods in the history of the United States, and during that time was able to accomplish a great feat to keep the country together and abolish slavery, said that the best way to predict the future is to create it. And to me, this very much captures the best of the entrepreneurial mindset. So, embracing uncertainty like an entrepreneur. Essentially, I turned uncertainty into possibility, taking one small step at a time. I believe that my dreams and aspirations were there for a good reason and that they shouldn't be neglected. On the contrary, they should be nurtured. They shouldn't be put on hold and sacrificed at the altar of safety and security. I trusted that my capacities and skills were the real source of security, not someone else or an organization or a job. And so I started thinking like an independent professional, and that I was essentially collaborating or consulting with organizations. Even if they employed me, I saw myself as an independent consultant within that organization. And sure enough, I realized that the successful professionals and leaders that I admired tended to think like this anyway. So I finally cottoned on. And not everyone does this. This isn't the type of thinking that everybody wants to embrace. So not everybody challenges the narrative that we're handed of what constitutes success, or trusts that things can be done very differently and still work out, or be willing to try things even if they don't work out, but then see failure positively as a learning opportunity. And not everybody prioritizes their intuition over external opinions and fear-mongering, which happens a lot, especially in situations of uncertainty in the economy or organizations, as I'm sure you know. So there was only one way forward for me, and that was to deal with the uncertainty and embrace it and make the most of it. So the problem became an opportunity to spread my wings. So here's what I did. First, I quit the job that I was in that represented the secure path. I took up an opportunity that was kind of available, but I hadn't taken up because it was, I was told it's too risky, but it was much more aligned with my dream of working in global health. And it was just a great opportunity that was waiting for me and as a result, I started traveling and speaking and writing and making a name for myself on a specific topic within the Sustainable Development Goals agenda, and found myself in the midst of a huge global conversation that was very, very important and exciting around climate change. and sustainable development. So within a year, I had my teenage dream of working on global health had come true, and I had also eventually set up my own company. And most importantly, I kept learning. So it's been a journey, going from a place where I was completely confused and didn't know what to do to a place where things are sort of feel in flow, and I feel like I'm on my path and I'm living my purpose. And coming back to the question of not knowing what to do, Austin Kleon, who writes a lot about creativity, says that most questions can be boiled down to 1, I'm scared, or 2, I don't know what to do. And the answers are 1, one day you'll be dead, and 2, keep working. And I think he doesn't mean keep working as in keep doing stuff you don't like. I believe he means keep going on your path, keep taking action that feels right to you, one small step at a time. And I think it's very important that we not just reframe success, but be realistic about what success is. I think Winston Churchill said success is going from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. And I think he captured it very well. And this is a diagram that kind of represents that. So success isn't a straight line. It's a very messy, winding thread that eventually gets you from one, or it looks like you've gone from one place to another, but you've just been on a journey of learning and going forward without losing enthusiasm. So it's easy to compare yourself, to look at other people and see how they're doing great, or how they have the one thing that you don't have. But I don't have to tell you that comparison is not healthy unless it inspires you, unless it gives you information that helps you, because what you see on the outside is only a small fraction of what's actually happened and what's going on in that person's life. Success, or what looks like success, has underneath it a lot of persistence, a lot of facing failure, sacrifice, disappointment, getting back up again, discipline, hard work, and dedication, which we tend to forget when we're doing those snap comparisons. And this is the emotional aspect of change. Emotions are often neglected. We tend to focus on intellect in our work and in our assessments of ourselves. We think about the ideas. We don't think about the emotions involved. And this is a very helpful framework, the emotional cycle of change. And it shows how we go from a place of enthusiasm to eventually to a place of completion, which is the sort of success, where you got to where you wanted, you got the job, or you finished a project or something, and everything in between. So the phase where you might start enthusiastically and then suddenly realize what's involved. You start to face some difficulties, some challenges. And it takes grit to see those failures and challenges as just part of the journey, to get through to the other side, where somehow things start to work. Things start to fall into place slowly, one step at a time. It's not immediate normally. If you're going for a big challenge, if you're going for a big dream, it's not going to be immediate. It's going to take the emotional cycle of change. You're going to go through it, whether you realize it or not. And I show this diagram because I know it helps people to be patient with themselves and to be able to accept where they are, so they can continue on the journey and get to their destination. So the message is, if you think you're confused, you're probably not confused. You're just going through the cycle of change and transformation, and you're probably in the hard bit, the bit of the iceberg that's underwater. And here's a little survey just to see if you want to think about a situation you're in now where you feel maybe a bit stuck, not sure what to do. See if you can identify which stage you're at. Are you in, and just make a note of it, and we'll come back to it in the conversation. Are you in uninformed optimism, or are you thinking, yay, I'm going to go for my dreams now? Are you 2, in informed pessimism, which is that, oh, this is harder than I thought? Are you in 3, uninformed pessimism, where you're like, oh my God, there are no words to describe how scared and confused and stuck I feel? Or are you in 4, informed optimism, which says, wow, this is working out in unexpected ways? So just make a little note of one that strikes you and that we can discuss later. I must like this Abraham Lincoln quote a lot because I've got it in twice. So a couple more questions that you might want to consider, aside from where are you in the cycle of change. Maybe think about, if you're feeling stuck now, when were you last stuck and found a way forward? Just visualize that time. Take a few moments to go back in time and remember how it felt, where you were, what you were doing, and what helped you become unstuck. What were the factors? What were the people, the places, the thoughts, the insights that helped you suddenly see what was required of you next? And you can also think about who or what inspires you and what is it about them that does, which is a much healthier way of comparing ourselves. It's to think about people who inspire us, or rather than making a direct comparison, turning the comparison into a question, which is, what is it that inspires me about that person? Is it a quality? And if it's a quality, what quality is it? Is it courage? Is it persistence? Is it some kind of insight, patience, kindness, compassion? What is it about them that really attracts you? So, coming to the end of the presentation now, my number one piece of advice in the face of uncertainty or this kind of feeling of not knowing what to do is to commit to something. Commit to something small. And it's just a next step. It doesn't have to be a whole strategy or a whole course of action. You don't have to make a big decision immediately. It's just commit to something, one thing. And resting and taking time out and being kind yourself counts as something. That does count as a next step. And most people, especially when they start coaching, need that. They need almost permission. They need someone to tell them it's okay just to relax and take a step back. The answers will come much more quickly that way. So a quick recap. I don't know what to do really is a symptom of going through the cycle of change or transformation. And feeling stuck, in my experience, particularly that experience in Alaska, is just really a loss of perspective, that there's a bigger story we're part of, and this impatience that we all have of wanting to get to places really quickly and wanting answers fast. The easiest way back to clarity is to embrace where we are. So, okay, I'm confused. I'm in a cycle of change, and I'm feeling a bit confused, and it's just part of the process. And what's a small step I can commit to next? Whether it's resting, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's sending an email that you've been meaning to send, whether it's connecting with someone that you've been meaning to connect with. What's that next small step that you can commit to? And commit to means you do it. You don't think about it, think it's a good idea, and do it later. You do it. You do it immediately, preferably. So 3 preventive measures. So what you're doing today, taking time out to reflect and doing that regularly. Finding a support group. It's very important to have an environment or a community that actually supports you in this change or in your dream, if you're clear on what your dream is, if you want to do something different. You don't have to do this alone. And finally, I've benefited a lot from mentoring and coaching in my transformations, and I've benefited mostly when they're the type of support that gives space. So space to be me, space to be you, not advice. I didn't find advice helpful when I was very confused. What I found helpful was to have the space to reconnect with my inner voice. So look for people, mentors, coaches who help you do that. What does it take to fly? So yes, be open to stepping out of your comfort zone. That next small step, it can be small and it can be outside your comfort zone. So sending an email to someone who you admire, who you think is somehow out of reach for you, that's outside your comfort zone. And being open to doing those things will break the confusion and the stuckness. Commitment to the journey. It is a journey, as I've said several times. It's a process. It's a journey, and that's why we have to be patient. And trust yourself. Trust that inner voice. Trust that you do have answers, and that they're closer than your mind thinks. Your mind may be racing left and right and up and down, but the answer is closer if you trust and rest in your self. So I think you should have showed up today because you know that there's something different that's possible for you. Where you are may be great, and you're probably feeling that there's more. You know that you have a lot to offer. You know that there's talent and capabilities and capacities within you that are maybe not yet fully expressed, and you're feeling there's an impulse there that wants that to happen, wants them to come out into the world and benefit the world, including yourself. And you're willing to step out of your comfort zone. So thank you for doing that. Okay, so now we're coming to the end. I mentioned I'd say something about what I do. So I think most of you or all of you are on Wise Wednesdays. If you're not, please have a look on the website. You can sign up there. The Leader Circle is this webinar. These happen monthly, and I will send you the dates for the next one by email. And I do the one-to-one work. If you're interested in that, please also do have a look on the website for more information. And I will send you all of this in the follow-up email with the recording anyway, so don't worry if you didn't catch all of that. All right, so thank you very much. Now I'm going to open it up to the discussion. I'm just going to stop this sharing, so take a deep breath, just gather your thoughts, and then we'll start the conversation. Hello again. So feel free to unmute yourselves. It's a nice intimate group, so we can have a very open conversation here. If you want to introduce yourself before speaking, then that's great.
Okay, I'll jump in. I'm Anne.
Hi, Anne.
Hi. And I'm at a really exciting time in my life. I've been working in the area of personal development for 40 years or so. And I've reached a point where I feel I've got so much to give back, because I dropped out of university. I studied architecture for 2 years, and I was on the wrong career path. For a while, I felt I didn't belong anywhere. And then I spent 6 months traveling in India, which was a spiritual journey of awakening, really. And I found out I learned there that I'm really here to be of service. That was I got that. And then I've done a lot of things in the 40 years. I've learned so much. When I dropped out of university, I said I'd really rather learn from life than from books, which is what I've done. I've learned from life. So, and I turned 70 my last birthday, and it's like, it's not that time is running out, but it's like, it's time I got on and did something, because I've done a lot of bits and pieces, but it's like, this is my life work I'm now capturing. And it's hugely exciting, and at times very confusing. So it's like, and I don't regret it. I'm setting myself up to really capitalize on all the amazing experiences that I've had. So, you do that curve, you've got the transition curve. And I would say I experience all of those points at different times. There are times of confusion, times of certainty. It's not a smooth line exactly. It's a lot of up and down, because there are times when I thought, yes, I'm ready to go for it. And other times, like, oh, I'm never going to do this. This is too much. What do I think I'm doing? You know, if I was going to do anything significant, I would have done it by now. All those kind of things. And I'd say the thing that's worked for me most recently is I've been writing articles around hope. And the last one I've written is on stillness. And one of the things that helps me most, and you alluded to this, I think, is taking time out just to listen and surrender all the attachments to things I think I have to do and just get still. And that's the thing that I've been finding most helpful recently. Is just, so I'm awake at night thinking about all the things I want to do. Be still. Just be still. I wish it was easier said. It is easier said than done. But a little practice, I'm going to get better at it.
Yeah.
And all being well, I'm going to get there. I mean, I will get there. Yeah.
What if you were already there?
You know, that's the most scary thought, and that's probably true. In a way, I am. It's like a breath away, almost a breath away, because all the things I've learned are so present with me, and I'm very close. But the mind, you know, the mind is a real character. You know, it has a will of its own.
Yeah, I'm curious if you try it on and say, I'm already there, rather than I'm a breath away. Saying I'm already there.
That's it. That's exciting.
How does it feel? Does it have any other qualities? The feeling of it?
It's mainly exciting. It's a right down my center. It's like, it's an excitement of knowing. That rings true for me. Yes, I am already there. And a lot of what I experienced in life so far is that things have come to me. It's not like I have to effort in a stressful kind of a way. When I'm just full of who I am, and I'm in the world, I'm not running away from things, but I'm present. It's amazing how the right things have a way of showing up, and it's not difficult.
Yeah.
And this thing about uncertainty, I am so excited about uncertainty. I listened to a very interesting seminar the other day, and this person was talking about the truth that we live in, really, in the quantum field, so-called, is uncertainty and the unknown. That's the truth that we're living in. And as things are changing, this quantum field, as it were, is constantly evolving. So we don't know what's going to come into it next. It's going to have an impact. And I think if one's geared, this is my sense of it anyway, you're geared to opportunity, then as things come in, they'll come towards you because you're open and ready for them. And that to me is hugely exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
And I know you are. I know, because you're talking about, you know, facing the unknown and being willing to take the leap. And it's like, yes, it's the only thing to do in a way. It's like, yes, because there's so much that's available as you make yourself available. And the things of living in a in a world where things are very structured and everything's expected and so on. It's like, then you're not open in the way that you could be to the amazing opportunities.
Yeah. While we're busy thinking life is happening and the river of life is flowing, we could jump in it, or we could
swim. Dive in and swim.
Yeah. In a way, I think I might rephrase that in the future, because my recent experiences have been that it's not even a leap, it's more a sinking back.
I like that. It's something that's sitting into oneself, is the sort of feeling that I have. And in the stillness, the image that I had for myself in stillness, because I was playing with it with a friend, is like a panda bear chewing on bamboo shoot. No, it's like, if I want to be still, just be the panda bear chewing on, they're just cool. They're chewing on a bamboo shoot.
Yeah.
And apart from which, they're so cuddly, and they look cuddly anyway. And they're the symbol for the World Wildlife Fund, and they're treasured in China. If they're treasured in China, they've got something going for them. So, just be the panda bear with a bamboo shoot chewing.
That sounds like a nice holiday.
It just made me feel very calm, and it made me laugh.
Mm.
And that's the other thing I think is really helpful, is to sort of see the funny side, because it's so easy to get wrapped up in losing a sense of humor.
Yeah.
But I just, before I started watching this, I was watching Monty Python cartoons, the YouTubes, and they're just so ridiculous. And it helps to stop taking life too seriously. It's like, this is crazy stuff, but hey.
Yeah.
Laughing helps.
I like the way you're bringing in resources to, you're giving yourself joy. You're bringing joyfulness, which helps to circulate. It helps to energize us as we go on our journeys, or as we're on our journeys.
Yes.
It's important, not, like you said, not to get too serious. And that essentially means very focused on the goal. And forgetting that there's also fun to be had along the way. And Rich Litvin, as you know, talks about, and other coaches talk about, turning everything into a game. So when you're faced with a task that feels a little bit heavy, how can you gamify it so that there's some fun built into it? So great with Monty Python.
Just the most. There's a dead parrot sketch, which just is so ridiculous. But
whatever works. I'm curious what other people are thinking at this point, and whether there are others. Whether you want to share what your resources are, whether it's Monty Python or something else.
Hello there.
Hi, Joanna.
Hello. Hey, Amina and Anna. It was a bit noisy. I'm helping a friend installing an art show. So they were just backling, and it was a big noise. So that's why I was on silent all this time. But now I came in the smaller room, so it will be a bit easier for me to communicate. So hello, and thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I think there were some points which, I guess I needed to hear them. I am living now in Berlin, in Germany. I've studied in Coventry University in England. I'm from Romania. And
I think I know your sister.
Oh, really? Yes, I think I mean, I don't know if you know, but she recommended me to join this webinar.
I thought you were related.
So
great to meet you.
Yes. I mean, the world is so small, but I think the family name ring a bell for you, or?
Yeah.
No, isn't it? Okay. So yeah, and I guess now I'm at a crossroad. I came to Berlin to do my internship with a highly known photographer in a studio, and
oh wow.
Now I'm not sure if I should come back to England. I'm not sure if I should stay here. I love Berlin, but I guess a bit my world, it's I feel like my thoughts or my world or whatever, it's a bit of a mixture. I'm not sure what in which direction to go, and I guess I have few ideas in my head, which working as an artist, working as a photographer, having my own business and also make money, but still not feel pressured with the idea of making money, and which that will influence my art, and I don't want that. So I guess I'm just trying to find the right way and the right balance in my life in order not to have a bad job which I dislike just for money, but also to live freely and creatively as an artist, but not to be stressed about money, which I guess this is where I am. And I think the fact that you said that we should find our inner peace, I guess that's something which in the last year or maybe I was struggling to find my inner peace, because I feel like I am split in a way into different worlds, countries. So maybe a trip will help. As you said, you went away.
Yeah. Have you had a break recently? When was the last time you got?
No, I mean, I went with my sister actually in a holiday, summer holiday. But I think what I need, maybe a trip, would be like an creative trip or inspirational trip, or something which, you know, can connect my inner I don't know, yeah, my interior with my mind, or I guess, yeah. I never thought of that.
Your inner voice.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your art. How do you get inspired? Where does the inspiration come from? What's your process as an artist?
I guess I find inspiration in what surrounds me, and nature and sustainability. So it's something which you also mentioned before. I'm very drawn because I worked for a photographer in fashion, and he works with really high-end brands. I guess that made me think in a way that, how can I bring a change in fashion? How can I work with fair trade, sustainable brands, and how can I bring awareness in the fashion world? Because that's a bit harder now. I mean, now in Berlin things are a bit more different. I mean, and everything it's sustainable oriented, but I guess I am in the right place. But that's something which, you know, inspires me. The fact that I can make a change, and I think this is how, I guess, we were brought up. You know, that it's important in what do we do to bring a change, or to if it's not, I mean, I'm sure it's always for ourselves. I mean, first it's also for us, but at the same time, this change, you know, it will be benefit if it's also for others. So I guess that will motivate me a lot, to know that I can bring a change in photography, you know, with the help of this medium.
Yeah.
So that inspires me. The thought of that inspires me and excites me.
Okay. And so do you feel that you've kind of got a little plan and a strategy? Do you have are you able to make income whilst doing that, or is that what's stressing you out?
Well, now I think, like any other self-employed freelancer artist in Berlin, we all have a part-time job in a coffee shop or gallery, or, you know, just not necessarily a job which is highly seen, but as long as it brings the money. So I guess my plan, it is to have a balance, yeah, to have an income, like financial income. Yeah, in a job which I enjoy doing, and because now I work as a barista, so, which is awesome. I mean, you have health insurance, and you meet, I mean, you get the chance to interact with other people, and I think that's very important as an artist, to network, which it got me a few jobs. I think that's very important, to know how to network.
So the barista,
yeah, and actually I have
some odd commission.
Yes, I actually had few jobs, yeah, because you get into contact with other people, so that's what you do. And I'm not the first artist actually who's working there. There's another girl who's Canadian, and she works as an artist. So she said that, you know, working in a coffee shop, you know, you can showcase your work. That's actually really helpful in Berlin, because by showcasing your work, you can actually sell the work. And I think coffee shops here, they become sort of like a gallery. You showcase your work. Also, the owner takes about a part of your work. Plus, you also obviously get more than half.
And so
this is how I guess
Well, it's interesting, new models of doing work and sharing work and being paid for work. And so, what do you feel? I mean, it sounds like things are cooking along. What would happen today in this conversation that would really help you? Is there a part of your inner voice that wants
I
to?
guess it's, I'm not sure if, yeah. I'm not sure how to put everything what I have in my head into practice, I think. Maybe this is the mind of an artist. I don't
Oh,
know.
you mean you're creative? You've
how
got
to
a lot of
structure.
creative ideas.
Yes, which I think
Well, what's your
is
priority
just a bit.
right now in your life?
I guess my priority is to see myself next year where I want to, what I see now in my head. You know, I guess that's my number one priority, is to put in practice what I like, my vision from beginning to end.
Okay.
Is to start my own business. Is to, yeah. So that's my one main priority. So, which, as you said, you know, it's scary because I'm not sure this works. So I guess, yeah, that's a priority, but I just don't know, should I start with left or right or both? Or because,
what's left and
yeah,
what's
I'm all.
What's left and what's right?
Sorry?
What's on the left and what's on the right?
I guess on the left would be England, to go back to England, even though maybe it's not that appealing now after living here for 2 years. I do have my business registered in England with HMRC, or stay here and open here. And yeah, I guess I'm not, yeah, maybe a lack of direction.
What's most important to you? On a deep level.
On a deep level, I think it's to.
What do you really, really want?
I think it's to put in practice everything what I've learned at uni, to put in practice what I've learned after uni, at this internship, what the experience I gained. I guess
so
that's what I'm hoping to.
Or several lifetimes. So where would you start?
I guess I would start with art. Because I did not start with art. I have different studies. I have a degree in economics and tourism, and then I have a master degree in human resources. I know it sounds funny, but yeah. And then I realized, oh, wait a second, actually I do like art, and actually, you know, I was enjoying. That was my world. So maybe that would be something which I would change. I would start with something which my inner told me 15 years ago. Be creative, do art. I guess that's something which I feel like I've missed.
Okay.
So
are you doing that at the moment?
now I need to. Well, I am, but not as much as I could, or I should, or not as much as I know I have to do. Yeah.
So art is missing, or more art is missing?
I guess, yes, more art is missing, probably. And then I think it's just this plan and everything structured. So all the time my sister, she's advising me, if maybe some coaching session will help, because obviously as a creative you don't necessarily know how to do these things on your own. So she recommended me to join this webinar. Well, which I guess, yeah, I think that's what I need, just maybe a structured plan to have everything written so that I'm like, yes, makes sense. Or, I've been looking for this, but I just couldn't see it all this time. I guess it's a chaos in my mind a bit. I'm not sure.
So try and look, rather than look in your mind, look in your heart, what you really want. And rather than wanting a big plan to just appear on the page, think about one small step that you can implement immediately.
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel?
So to think of a step which I should do, let's say starting from tomorrow, or
Well, look in your heart first, because
from
your
now.
heart has the answer. I know it might feel uncomfortable and your mind will want to pull you back out. But a coach is a balloon, a person who, so your balloon, you've got a helium balloon and it wants to go up into the ideas and that creative world. And so the coach will pull you back down into your body and your heart to sense the answer.
I'm not sure if I have like an answer, to be honest.
It won't come immediately necessarily. That's the patience and the willingness to be with uncertainty, the phase. The mind doesn't know. There's nothing you can, there's no answer. There's no 2 = 4 this second. It might come in the next second. But unless you have,
I guess,
the second of uncertainty, the answer can't come. It's like you've blocked out all these slots for an answer with a lot of thinking. So the answer can't land.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true, because the mind doesn't know. So if it doesn't, the heart cannot help much if I'm not trying to go there.
Like if I gave you a bunch of sweets of different flavors and you've never tasted them, and then you try to use your mind to pick the flavor that you like.
Yeah.
It's not the same as having tasted the sweets and then saying, I like this one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's like, it's as if, it's an imagination game in a way, or
it's thinking. It's logical, discursive thinking. This, that, the other, but this, and then that, and this thing, and this, the other thing. It's not the same as experience. Or feeling.
Yeah, it's like having a taste of something without actually knowing what it is. Just imagining how would that feel, or just imagine how that taste, as you asked Anna.
Exactly. Yeah, you can never. How do you think if you haven't tasted something?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you. Right?
Yeah. Yes, right.
So, what might you need to taste?
I guess I need to taste the courage of going forward, and lack of fear. This is what comes in my mind.
Do you remember a time when you were brave?
Yeah, actually I do. When I was at uni, in Coventry, I had this idea to build my own society, like photo club society was called. And it just started, with just simple idea how to found this society, and it ended up with 30 members. It was nominated, it was awarded, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever done. And we had weekly meetings, and I had my own board, and we had exhibitions, and I had mentoring sessions with students from there, which I never thought, there was something like this hiding in me. But that was the only thing. I think what you said.
Already done.
Yeah, and that's my little baby, which is still a Coventry.
Wow. And so have you thought of doing something similar in Berlin? Joanna? Okay, well, hopefully you're off implementing the idea. Oh. All right. Well, I guess that's a good cue to wrap up.
Which I liked what you said it.
Joanna, we can't hear you. It sounds like you're okay and chatting away. But we can, let's connect afterwards maybe to continue the conversation. All right, so Phoebe, Fola, haven't heard from you, but hope you got what you needed from today. And thank you so much for your contribution and leading us into the conversation, sharing your journey with us, your beautiful, amazing journey with us.
Thank you.
Ioana, not sure if you can hear us, but I'll assume you can. Thank you for sharing your story. And so all that's left for me is to say good evening or good day, wherever you are. And I'll be in touch by email. I'll send you this recording and the details that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, can you mention, mentioned at the webinar, I think was the 5th or 6th of December, but if you can give those details too, because they can get them down.
Yes, I will. It's 5th of December, 6 p.m. UK.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yes. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful time and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Bye.